quarterback Trevor Lawrence. John, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you for joining us this morning or this afternoon, Trevor. It's morning for me here in New Orleans. We're going to jump right into questions. I'll introduce the media members by name and media outlet. We're going to start with Paul Meyerberg from USA Today.
Sorry. Good afternoon, Trevor. I know your story isn't quite finished, Trevor. You got another chapter to write as you move forward in your college career. But if you could take a moment to think back across your almost 3 years, what legacy do you think you're going to leave at Clemson and in college football, and what would you want it to be if you could define it yourself?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about necessarily what my legacy would be. I've just been trying to live in the moment these past 3 years and trying to be the best I can be, whatever moment I'm in. So that's been my mindset, and I think that helps you leave a legacy if you just try to live and be your best in every moment. But I mean, at the end of the day, I just want people to say, I want people to speak to my character more than the type of player I am or I was or whatever. I want to just be a good person, and I think that's the number one goal for me. And then obviously the play and all the accolades, all that stuff kind of will eventually speak for itself. And but that's really not the main thing for me. Is just being a good person, being a good teammate. I hope that's what people say about me whenever I leave here.
Our next question, Stephen Means from Cleveland.com.
Hey, Trevor, just going back to your recruiting days, when I know the stars and stuff probably don't matter at this point, but when you're going through the recruiting process and you're a guy as highly rated as yourself, and when quarterback recruiting is so different and you have to care about who's in the room, do you have to worry about that element of it as much as maybe some other guys would, as what type of caliber players are going to be in that room with you when you're trying to win a job?
I mean, that was something for me, was kind of a secondary thought. I think that has to be a small part of everyone's process on where they go to school. Just you got to have the opportunity to be able to play. But that was a small part of it for me. For me, I just wanted to go to a few different schools and see what fit me the best, build a relationship with the coaches and make my decision from there, where I felt like was home, where kind of on the field, off the field, everything would fit me, where I felt like I could become a better person, all those things. And I eventually came to the conclusion it was Clemson. And, obviously they had their starter coming back, and that just really wasn't something I thought about, just because I knew that's where I wanted to be for the long haul. It wasn't just the place I could necessarily go and play the fastest. I just wanted to go somewhere that valued the same things as me, not just winning games. So I felt really confident in that, and that's how I made my decision. I think that's different for some people, but at the end of the day, I had confidence in myself and knew that it would work out eventually. Didn't know exactly how it would go. Didn't even necessarily know that it would, I'd have so much success so early, but just kind of trusted it and trusted myself and my decision and stuck with it.
With quick follow-up on that, were you shocked at how much turnover the room had between your first couple of years here?
Yeah, it's definitely been, I've seen a lot of guys come through. Obviously, there's a few guys that transferred when I first came in just for different reasons, but so that room changed pretty quickly. What I thought I was stepping into was different than what it was when I got here. And then obviously Kelly after the, spring and fall. And then after that, it was Chase went to Duke now, and that's one of my best friends, and we're still super close. So it's changed a lot. Now we got DJ and Tyson and Hunter Helms and all those guys in there. Patrick McClure, who was in there, now medically can't play, so he's helping coach now. So it's just, there's been a lot of change, but we all have a great relationship. We've made it work regardless of who was in there, but definitely seen a lot of turnover, and it's been good for me to just get to know a lot of different people and just try to be a good teammate best way I can.
Next will be Josh Needleman from the Charleston Post and Courier.
Hey, Trevor. I know you said a minute ago you try not to consider your legacy as you try to live in the moment day by day, but is it cool to think about the We Want to Play movement back in the summer, you playing a big role in that, and it might have influenced public opinion to the point where the season, did go on and has almost gotten to the finish line like we are now?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to be a part of something like that. I mean, it wasn't just me. It's kind of, my name gets thrown on the headline, the label of everything, but definitely wasn't just me. I probably didn't even do most of the work. So, but it's cool to be a part of that, and I think we'll look back on that as a pretty cool moment and kind of a turning point. And honestly, I think it gave a lot of people some opportunities, which was kind of the goal. This game means a lot to a lot of people, and I think that playing this year helps a lot of people a lot. I mean, you think about one of our receivers, Cornell Powell, fifth-year senior, hadn't played a ton up until this point, and this was kind of his year. That he had a really good spring and fall camp, and this was kind of, he's expecting this to be his year to really prove himself. And without a season, I mean, he's in a whole different situation. He just got invited to the Senior Bowl. He's had a great year, been a great teammate, and without a season, that changes a lot for him. That's just one example. So hopefully, playing this year has helped a lot of people, and it's been worth it. I think it's been a success. If you look at how kind of 2020's gone, I think this has been a success, as much as it could be.
We'll go to Scott Rabelais from the New Orleans Advocate.
Trevor, you've had so much success, obviously, in your college career, but a lot of athletes say they remember the times they didn't succeed more than the success. You being 34-1 as a starter, how much does the and one stick in your mind, especially considering the magnitude of that game in New Orleans last year?
Yeah, I mean, what could have been, it would have been cool to have the opportunity to obviously not lose a game in college, but I think some things are necessary for you to grow. You got to face a little bit of adversity, and sometimes you can't really – you're a little bit blinded by success if you don't have any hiccups along the way, if you will. So I think for us and for me personally, it was good for us to not win that game in a lot of ways. Obviously, you want to win a national championship, and it's definitely kind of devastating in the moment. But after that, I mean, I think we've gotten a lot better. I learned a lot about myself. There's a lot of things I needed to work on to be a better player. And that just, I think leading in times when things are harder, when you lose a game, is definitely harder than when you're winning. So teaching me a little bit on how to lead better, just all those things, I think we kind of needed that. And at the end of the day, you just don't want to take winning for granted. We win a lot around here, and it's easy to kind of forget how hard it is to win when you win so much. So I think it taught us a lot, and I think we took that next step as a program and as a team because of that. Obviously, you don't really choose that going forward, but sometimes it can be better for you.
Next is Trevor Groves from CUTigers.com.
Hey, Trev. You've been competing against Justin Fields, going all the way back to high school, elite quarterback camps, what have you. And of course, the game last year. Is it kind of neat to keep this kind of rivalry going that you have with him head to head?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I said before, it's a small world. He's from right down the road from me, probably 20, 30 minutes. And just to be playing each other for the second time. And we've kind of been matched up, I guess, for years, just going back to high school. I haven't really seen it as that. I'm not like out here just competing against Justin. I mean, we're friends. We got a good relationship, but that's kind of how people like to pin it as me against him. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just fun getting the opportunity to play a team like Ohio State. Obviously, huge brand, great team year in and year out, and to get the opportunity to play them is kind of what you expect in a semifinal. They're playing the best of the best, so we're excited for that opportunity. But it does make it cooler that the guy on the other sideline is from right down the road from me. So it's pretty cool. Obviously, we played him last year. It was a crazy game, but definitely looking forward to it.
We have time for one more. We'll go to Brendan Gulick from Buckeyes Now.
Hey, Trevor, kind of curious. You've thrown 4 interceptions in the last 5 games after going 12 straight without throwing one. As you kind of evaluated the couple of mistakes that you have made along the way, what have you learned about yourself in those few and far between moments?
Yeah, I mean, just that's part of every week. The process is evaluating the game, and regardless of how well I play, there's always something that I can get better at or something that I missed or whatever it may be. So that's the thing I love about Coach Streeter, quarterback coach. He's pretty hard on me, but in a good way. He wants me to be my best, and he's not going to let anything slide. So he holds me accountable, and then also me. I expect a lot from myself, so I go in there, and those are the main things I'm looking at, what I can get better at. Obviously, the good stuff is kind of expected to a certain degree, but just looking at what I can get better at. Then obviously had a few turnovers this year, and definitely have made an improvement from last year. And that was one of my main goals, but just realizing that nobody's perfect. It's going to happen, and just to play my game, to play comfortably, there's going to be a few turnovers. It's just part of the position. So just staying confident, not letting that get in my head, and just keep playing my game and not really changing, but learning for sure from some of those ill-advised throws and throws that could have been picked off and ones that were, and just learning, how do I get better from that? It's every week I do that.
Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, Trevor. Good luck in